Ultimate FENatic, Volume 33 and 1/3, Third Strike with a FENgeance. Cal and Emily. I hope our love is strong. I hope it doesn't have to go through what Cal and Emily lived through. No cheating, no boredom, no craziness, no chaos. I hope I can still surprise you even after many years together in the wild world of crazy, stupid love. The New Mutants. Though it sounds cliche as fuck, I feel we need to face our fears and darkest moments in order to surpass them, or at least keep a leash on them. It won't be hard, it'll never be, but maybe we could do so, little by little, like Moonstar and the New Mutants. Just Married. I remember watching that movie a lot as a teen. I always wondered what my honeymoon would be like. I always hoped it would never turn out like Tom and Sarah's. Sure, all the crazy fun parts would be nice, a little misadventure wouldn't hurt, but please, none of the jealousy or crazy cheating. I don't expect our future honeymoon to be perfect. I just hope that chaos doesn't follow us and leads us to the dark paths lived by the young Lizacs. Take off your pants and jackets. As we listened to your 13 tracks, I remember those early years in my childhood where I was a pop punk rocker making stick figure comics, writing songs, poems, and stories that never see the light of day, making jackass-style videos with friends who'd eventually make their own path in life. Those were early days of me dreaming of becoming an artist, creative, or entertainer. Days where hours were spent drawing original characters inspired by already existing characters to the point they could have been considered fan fiction or rip-offs. Days where identity was often based on music tastes and I learned about the weird elitism found in certain artistic mediums. Days where music discovery was becoming easier, but I didn't have to buy the albums. Nope, birthday and holiday money had to be used wisely between movies, games, music, and whatever your parents told you was important. Those were youthful days. Days where responsibility wasn't as big. Days where life was a little easier. La trampa. Trampa tras trampa, al pueblo le siguen cogiendo de pendejo. Trampa tras trampa, como un episodio de Tom and Jerry, como un Duck Season, Rabbit Season sketch de Bugs, Daffy, and Elmer. Luckily, los ojos se están abriendo y las nuevas generaciones no caerán bajo la trampa. 6 thinks of 9. 2 S's meet and kiss, 6 thinks of 9. Pattern becomes a pattern. Letters increase, all in the world of text-based art. The shadows of her hands. A woman unable to hug herself asks for the shadows of her hands to hug her in times of dire need. Pueblo. El pueblo en resistencia es oprimido por el supuesto pueblo que le provee comida y otros basic necessities. El Chapulín and the Infinity Gauntlet. Latin American pop culture meets North American pop culture as Marvel crossovers with El Chapulín Colorado in an Eric Blake tribute that would make both audiences proud. Ese culo se merece todo. La imagen dice: ese culo se merece todo y lo aprecio y te coqueteo y me dices que pare con una sonrisa de lado a lado y continúo y las risas continúan acaparando el APA en un weekend en la metro. Turistas. Turistas buscan disfrutar de la colonia más vieja del planeta, pero ni las aves de la isla los quieren. Rápido que sienten sus pasos toman vuelo en paca, estorbando la paz y cagándole la ropa. A house made of pastel colors. A house made of pastel colors and cake-like material stands tall in the backyard of a Californian rapper with exquisite taste in French art as mixtape-inspired hip-hop plays in the background. A shy girl. A shy girl finally finds someone with whom she feels comfortable enough to share her everything from the rawest emotions to the purest form of her flesh. She stares at the camera lens. After living in these crude streets and looking at it from afar, she stares at the camera lens and presents her independence and presents her willingness, her courage to face adversity even if she has to do it with very little clothes to keep her warm. La doña. La doña sale por su puerta y observa su urba de esquina a esquina inspeccionando cualquier fuckery para reportarle a los demás que le avecinan. Mucha mierda. A veces tengo mucha mierda en la mente como esa illustration por CJ Román y simplemente tengo que descargarlo todo en la pantalla, libreta o cualquier canvas que se presente, pero siempre con la precaución de no publicarlo para Todex, porque Twitter no es mi diario ni tampoco lo son las otras redes. Nah, esas se dejan para las artes y lo creativo. Solo mira este poema, el resultado de reflexión luego de ver una imagen. Las Vegas. Una pintura captura love, friendship, house music, days at the beach y noches de neon protagonizadas por la chica detrás de FEMtrap. Playing with lights. She plays around with the lights and the shadows as she expresses herself via motion and performance while trying to find her true rawest form in the process. Saturday color palette. Red, blue, and yellow with some ink flowers on the side accompany a semi-nude lady on a Saturday evening. The horns of Aries. The horns of Aries cover the head of a young body rapper as he gets ready to unleash his latest proposal to the dark, ethereal ambient scene of the underground rap music. Kaleidoscopic views capture the poetic beauty of a Spanish lady in her rawest form, while news feeds get flooded with likes all across the board. Come closer. Come closer. A body Brazilian tells the viewer holding the phone as she displays her booty in front of a Nissan Skyline while wearing high heels and a Miami swimsuit reminiscent of the 80s. I don't know why, but it feels like a film noir waiting to happen. And I continue. As long as you accept that your dream might not go exactly as you plan, you will still feel fulfilled by the pursuit of that dream. Tom Segura on Ball Hog. And I continue chasing my dreams and working hard to achieve them like stand-up comedians and rappers who hustle till they make it. I take it as it is. With hard work, patience, and perseverance, I know I will achieve my dreams. It'll be dreadful at times. Sometimes the worst of thoughts can suffocate me, but these dreams won't achieve themselves. These dreams keep me going. They keep me living, and I shall continue to strive and eventually prosper. And I'll look back and say, yeah, I fucking did that. I just want to do it all. I should have known nothing is run the same, nothing stays the same. You can't make yesterday come back today. Piri, from Down These Mean Streets by Piri Thomas. I try to tell myself this every day, but it's hard, especially when you have so many plans in mind, so many things you want to do. You'd think I have no regrets, but sometimes I regret not doing more. More, and cutting down on consumption and laziness. I don't know if it's the workhorse in me. I don't know if it's hustle culture getting through my veins. But I just want to keep going, keep doing, put more work out there, more stories, more worlds, more thoughts, more ideas, more emotions. Nothing stays the same. I knew this and stood still. Like the words just flew over my head, y ahora estoy catching up, trying to stay al día, like I've always done ever since I threw away those 10 plus notebooks full of drawings as a kid. And it's hard, especially cuando te salen proyectos left and right, de un día para otro. People say you gotta pick and choose, que hay que ser más picky, selectivo, con los proyectos que haces porque el tiempo no da. Pero that's the problem. I want to do them all. From the books to the movies and whatever comes beyond. I know it's a daunting, almost impossible task, but I just want to do it all. I just want to do it all. No hay cheat code. There are no shortcuts in anything. Ebisu Sensei from Naruto. Yes, yes, y por eso nos jodemos. Tratando de ser lo mejor en todo, tratando de sanar en el proceso. No hay caminos cortos para nada, en especial si buscas romper barreras, en especial si quieres ir contra la corriente y no quieres quedarte en el comfort. Nope, no hay cheat code, solo tu camino, y el cual te has escogido como destino. Por eso debes seguir metiendo mano, debes seguir metiendo tabla, con todas las ganas, para que nadie venga a comerte los dulces. Así que, dale para adelante, mijo, con toda la fuerza, todas las energías, para que puedas demostrar que eres grande. Cuando no es necesario. There are times when sympathetic words only make things worse. Kakashi Hatake from Naruto. Yes, yes, a veces es mejor quedarse callado y solo servir como un shoulder to cry on. Solo escucha y permite el desahogo. A veces es mejor el trabajo que puedes hacer como persona. Solo escucha, abre bien esos oídos y no metas la cuchara cuando no es necesario. Forma va tomando. You're right. All efforts are pointless if you don't believe in yourself. Guy Sensei from Naruto. Yes, yes, nada vale la pena si no crees en ti mismo y en tus capacidades para lograr todas tus metas. Al principio nadie creía en ti, quizás porque ni lo habías mencionado. Pero desde ese principio debes comenzar a creer en ti. Que si es difícil, seguro que es difícil. Especialmente en esos principios, cuando todo lo que haces parece mierda, porque no has llegado a los estándares que tienes para ti mismo. Pero don't worry, kid. La cosa se pone easy. Con cada step que tomas cada día, solo tienes que seguir metiendo mano, para que veas como poco a poco todo va tomando forma. Ese sufrimiento. If you want to be free from your suffering, make up your mind. If you give up on your dream, you will suffer more. Guy Sensei from Naruto. Por más difícil que se pongan las cosas, nunca te rindas. Nunca dejes esos sueños ser sueños. Sigue metiendo mano, sigue metiendo caña. Porque al final del día, si te rindes, vas a sufrir más, como dijo Guy Sensei. Cuando la felicidad desaparece, la humanidad desaparece. Ese sufrimiento es otra parte más del proceso. Life is pain. Life is pain. We've got to scrape the joy from it every chance we get. Rod Kimball from Hot Rod by Akiva Schaffer. Yes, yes, every little piece of joy is worth celebrating. There's a reason why so much cash is spent on things that may seem trivial, or why so much positivity is spread across the web, or why things such as some good news exist. Life can be harsh, life can be painful, life can be darkness, life can be horrific. So why not celebrate every piece of joy you can? Have fun. It's not about winning. It's about fun. SpongeBob SquarePants from SpongeBob SquarePants. Yes, yes. Life can be all about competition. It can all be serious. It can all be experimental. It can all be about hitting your head against the wall as you try to be the best at your next goal, challenge, experience, whatever. But never, ever forget, kid. Have fun. Otherwise, what's the point? Just jump, kid. You have only to believe if you wish to achieve. That rhymed, unintentional. Rod Kimball from Hot Rod by Akiva Schaffer. What's the point of doing anything if you don't believe? Trust yourself and your work ethic, and you will succeed. It'll be hard. Everything's hard. Life ain't easy for those who aren't born with privilege, so why keep complaining when you can keep working for your dream or that one thing that makes you happy? And no, this isn't some Gary Vee shit. Just trust. You'll be better off doing what you love and believing in yourself than being in depression, constantly overthinking of that dream or that one thing you love. So just jump, kid. Take a chance and believe in yourself and your abilities to do something that completes you. In order to achieve. All my new shit, whack. Remember that. I ain't shit but a fraud, but everyone I know ain't nothing to God. But everyone I know ain't nothing to God. From It Just Doesn't Matter by Mac Miller. Constantly telling myself that I suck. Constantly telling yourself that you suck. That ain't enough. That you aren't enough. It is a deep case of imposter syndrome. A dark case of imposter syndrome. Because we can do it. We are enough. We just gotta reflect a little more. And we will see that we can also love ourselves. That we can admire ourselves. And learn from our flaws. And learn from our failures. In order to grow. Sure, we can never be perfect. But we can always look at work. Look at ourselves. And see where we can work harder. In order to achieve. In order to see how much better we can be. Siempre lo llevo. Oh, what a day, what a lovely day. Nux, from Mad Max Fury Road by George Miller. That's my exact reaction when I go into a party, sea de familia, amistades o la escena, porque se va a pasar cabrón como una buena canción. Y todo comienza desde que salgo de mi hogar with the music blasting on the phone before I connect to the aux. Vaya que vacilón. Estos son días que se mueven con sazón y que no se van con el sol, porque por siempre los tengo, siempre los llevo en el corazón, siempre los llevo, siempre los llevo. Some form of joy. Engineers turn dreams into reality. Caproni from The Wind Rises by Hayao Miyazaki. That's what we do. All artists, all creatives. We bring forth dreams. We get them out like that label. We bring them forth and take people into worlds that help them reflect about their worlds. It's a hard task to do, and many can't appreciate it, but that's okay. As long as the dreams are out there, some form of joy will forever be expressed. Never ever fucking bored. Always poor, never bored. From White Privilege by Idols. Find me in the streets, always walking. Find me at homes, always writing. Find me in the studio, always drawing. Find me at home, always dancing. 'Cause I'm always poor, never bored. 'Cause I'm always rich, never bored. Poor economically, never bored. Rich as far as love goes, never bored. Never ever fucking bored, never ever fucking bored. Despite. In spite of it all, life is beautiful. From The End by Idols. Despite all the traumas, despite colonization, despite all the liars, despite the economy, despite all the canes, despite all the quakes, despite the pandemic, life is beautiful. Move forward. Sometimes backwards to move forward. Always. Luke Cage, from Marvel's Luke Cage. A little bit of introspection, a little bit of reflection, sitting down, reading the memories, read the history books. A little bit doesn't hurt before we can move on, because we just can't seem to learn about our past in order to move forward, in order to move properly forward. So much to learn, so much to unlearn, yet we're stuck. Yet we fail in order to move forward. Nunca es tarde. Nunca es tarde para hacer un cambio grande. Skeptic. Yes, por eso no hay excusa. Por eso debes meter caña y darle duro a lo que amas, sea tu sueño o tu hobby. Disfrútalo, gózalo en el lobby cuando no tengas trabajo del 9 to 5. Without fun, what's life? Without goals, what's life? No la dejes pasar, aprovecha el tiempo, seas viejo, seas joven, y haz lo que deseas, siempre y cuando no hagas daño a otros. Nunca es tarde, no, nunca es tarde. And here I go. Any man who's got the guts to sell his soul for love has got the power to change the world. Carter Slade, aka The Caretaker, from Ghost Rider, by Mark Steven Johnson. And here I go. One poem at a time, one piece of art at a time, enjoying the process, but also remembering the power I got, the power to inspire or change minds, the power to make others better people. I don't know how effective these words, these ideas might be, but here I go, putting everything out there, raw, unedited, vulnerable, hoping others can see the good out of self-expression. The Forever Mood. Sometimes I wish I was a cloud just floating along, going wherever the breeze takes me. Shikamaru from Naruto. Yup. Without a care in the world, just going by with a clean mind, with no worries like Pac and knowledge, enjoying life in a sky full of jazzy vibes and soulful beats, where chilling is the forever mood. A very tiny form. A wound of a heart is different from a flesh wound. Unlike a flesh wound, there are no ointments to heal it, and there are times when they never heal. Yashimaru from Naruto. And that is often what happens in this world full of darkness, where so many suffer and so many die. Thankfully, though, there are even more people willing to give love a chance than hatred, and so a balance is achieved, or at least it seems like it. Hopefully, love will win in the end, and hatred will live in a small form, a very tiny form like the effective of a reverse Super Mario mushroom. Love is. Love is care and devotion you feel for the precious ones around you. Yashimaru from Naruto. And I try to display it often for them, and others I try to support, due to their societal contribution from art and culture to food and shelter, and more and more and more and more. Love is what Yashimaru said, and so much more, that one could put into simple words. Podemos con eso y más. When a person has something important to protect, that is when they can truly become strong. Haku from Naruto. So I work harder than ever doing more podcasts and books, while teaching the youth, trying to keep us afloat, trying to find an even better job so we can achieve everything we want. I know you do it too, and it inspires me even more. It's a hard thing to do, survive the current state we live in, but I'm sure we can do it, porque podemos con eso y más. Day 2. I always told you, you're special. Your history isn't over yet. There's still a page left. Joy, from Blade Runner 2049, by Denis Villeneuve. And I spread this message to my students every day, and I hope they take it to heart, because they're special. They too can contribute. They too can inspire. They inspire me every day. I hope they realize it. I hope they understand the real purpose behind every poem I write for them. I hope they understand that they are also storytellers, artists, friends, family, people, and more. And they can also bring forth beauty in this world that turns into a bigger mess with each passing day. And working hard to do it. People have the power to change themselves. Gaius, the earth, from Legend of Mana. But it's so hard. It can be so difficult. Trying to change and unlearn so many ideas, so many lessons. It's hard, but not impossible. Especially at a younger age, because age can bring about ego, or I don't give a fuck attitudes. We have the power to change. It's just a matter of being open to it, and working hard to do it. Luego del release. Words can't express everything a person feels. From Mirror, by Andrei Tarkovsky. Y por eso sigo explorando y por eso sigo jugando, experimentando con la letra y otros medios, porque a veces las palabras aren't enough y hay que buscar nuevas maneras de expresar el sentir y de crear universos para sentir feliz, o por lo menos mejor, luego del release de cualquier feel. more and more often. Hatred saves no one. We must love each other like we did in ages past. Pearl from Legend of Mana. But we see that hatred more and more these days, maybe because it's covered more and more news companies, and very little ones cover or report actual positive acts of love and kindness, often falling on the wayside because they don't sell, because they don't attract clicks. We're so used to watching car wrecks and bloodshed that we prefer it 1,000 times over showings of love, affection, gratitude, and the sorts. Will we ever escape such a vicious cycle where darkness reigns over our screens? Who really knows? I just hope younger generations will be able to embrace more and more often. Esa raíz. The wind cannot defeat a tree with strong roots. Hugh Glass from The Revenant by Alejandro González Iñárritu. Y eso ha demostrado mi isla, que su identidad cambiará y evolucionará, pero esa raíz siempre se mantendrá firme. No importa el invasor que le caiga, y mientras más pasa el tiempo, más se lucha para tener una libertad única, donde la DNA se mantenga con cada cambio que traiga el tiempo. Entonces, love is power. Give it to another and you will bring bliss. Friends, criminals, strangers, and even yourself. All is reborn when you forgive, love, and understand. Pokiel, the storyteller from Legend of Mana. But we fail to understand this. No longer do we talk, no longer do we listen. It's all about looking good. It's all about bringing others down. Nothing is tolerated anymore. No criticism, no nothing. And it's a sad state we live in because there's no space for flaws, no space for growth. Entonces, ¿cómo echamos pa'lante si no hay break para hacerlo? Seguimos. Without love, courage is lost. Without courage, hope is lost. Without hope, all is lost. Mana Goddess from Legend of Mana. Pero como quiera seguimos buscando maneras, pero seguimos porque no nos queda de otra. Hasta cuando estamos en la tierra, en la mierda, seguimos con o sin esperanza, seguimos porque la vida nos ha acostumbrado a vivir con dolor. Ojalá y a los pollitos les vaya mejor. Se vive infeliz. The main thing about money, bud, is that it makes you do things you don't want to do. Lou Mannheim from Wall Street by Oliver Stone. Y así hay muchos, vendiendo el alma, perdiendo la pasión por su pasión, porque tienen que sobrevivir antes de seguir expresando y creando lo que de verdad quieren, pero el mundo no reconoce, porque ciertas expresiones atraen más que otras, y ciertas expresiones traen más plata que otras. Se muere la persona por dentro, aunque por fuera demuestren lo contrario, because they can never be themselves in a world that doesn't really accept them, y entonces se vive infeliz. Nunca florece. Create instead of living off the buying and selling of others. Carl Fox from Wall Street by Oliver Stone. Pero muchos no entienden que esto les beneficiará en el long haul, because originality is 1,000 times better than derivative shit. Lo sigo viendo con los react and commentary vids y el constant avalanche of content derivado de lo que hizo otro, without putting an ounce of originality into it, ese maybe a bit of personality, y entonces se quejan porque no pegan, y preguntan por qué no pegan con nada más, constantemente preguntando su existencia y cayendo en un ciclo de reciclaje, donde la verdadera creatividad nunca florece, y se pierde otra mente, que podía haber creado mundos llenos de fantasía jamás antes vista. Like Blink, sing. What's my age again? What's my age again? Blink-182. I ask myself this question often, not just because I forget sometimes, but also because in my mind I feel young, but my body and responsibilities tell me otherwise. Everything's gonna be fine, like Blink sing. But nah. More often than not, I find myself thinking about death and how close I am into it, and I just fall into an abyss of dark thoughts. Going for 12. Let's make this last forever, from First Date by Blink-182. And so we try. It's been hard, a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of challenges we've faced, and we're still here, going for 12. 12 years of love. And we always knew it would last this and more, ever since the first dance on that unofficial first date. And we failed to see it. And we're all to blame. We've gone too far. From pride to shame, we're trying so hard, we're dying in vain. We're hopelessly blissful and blind to all we are. We want it all with no sacrifice. We're all to blame by Sum 41. And we fail to see it because we put on blinders and we don't even want to talk to others, but expect others to understand us. And now we're stuck in muck, en todo el lodo asqueroso, tipo quicksand, y poco a poco nos ahogamos en nuestra propia mierda, because we don't take blame, because we all think we're right, because pride holds us back, and we never want to be wrong, and we refuse to learn, and we refuse to grow, y por eso estamos como estamos. Economía jodida, flora jodida, fauna jodida, vida jodida, and we still fail to see it. Direction. Perfection is my direction, from My Direction by Sum 41. And that continues to be the direction, and millennials and zoomers continue to be lost because we try to capture the unattainable, and whenever we fail worse than before because we just want to do good, but we're punished for every mistake we make. Y entonces, ¿cómo mejoramos? ¿Cómo seguimos? ¿Cómo progresamos si tumbamos a los caídos y en vez de darle la mano le ponemos el pie en el cuello? Se va la esperanza. Can't fight hope to believe in, from Still Waiting by Sum 41. Every day se puede ver el odio vomitado en las redes, algunos buscando un cambio positivo, pero es retado por personas que viven en el pasado. Unos más extremos dañan el debate, trayendo oscuridad a ambos lados y no admiten sus faltas, y nada se mueve, y se va la esperanza de un futuro, con paz y amor para todos. Y la cosa es así. Amor es entender que el amor no siempre es fácil. Skeptic. Yes, y la cosa así, pero cuando chamacos no lo sabemos y qué bueno es aprenderlo con el tiempo y aún estar con esa persona que te enamoró de un principio, porque le dimos un chance y aprendimos con el tiempo y crecimos con el tiempo. Amor, 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 amor. Se nos olvida. More than machinery, we need humanity. A Jewish barber, from Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator. Yes, pero se nos olvida y cada día perdemos más contacto, aunque tratamos de tener más contacto y perdemos comunicación y cómo entendernos y se siente que echamos para atrás en lo que significa ser humano. Y por eso nunca morirá. Ideas are bulletproof. V, from James McTeague's V for Vendetta. Y por eso nunca morirá la lucha por un mundo más justo, un mundo equitativo donde haya equal opportunities para todo el mundo. La resistencia de aquellos en poder jamás opacará la lucha de los de abajo en su búsqueda por la justicia. When you don't have a clue. All I want is peace, a life of peace and quiet. From Three Colors Red by Krzysztof Kiełowski. Such a simple wish, but a difficult one to grasp, especially when you're desperate to get some peace of mind and you think of putting yourself out there and feels out of your comfort zone. Will the sacrifice be worth it? Sacrifice some peace of mind in order to eventually get it back? It is such a difficult path to take. It is such a gamble. What if it doesn't pay off? What then? What to do? What to do when you don't have a clue? It hurts every time. Nothing's worse than saying goodbye. It's a little like dying. From Persepolis by Marjan Satrapi and Vincent Paronot. It hurts every time I know another friend or family member has to leave for a better chance at life in the outside. FaceTime, Zoom, calls, and texts help, but nothing compares to having your loved ones close, or somewhat close. The type of close where you know you can visit them at any given moment. Saying goodbye hurts. it really fucking hurts. And I don't know if my generation and the next can continue to stand the pain of walking into the airport knowing they might not embrace their loved ones as often as they would if they could stay in La Isla and live a proper life. This condition. Hidetora says, I am lost. Kiyoyami says, such is the human condition. From Akira Kurosawa's Ran. And so we search for meaning in books, music, film, series, video games, and all sorts of art, content, and media, but we never find anything. Which is why we spend endless hours lost on the web trying to find meaning and connection to this condition that endlessly has us thinking, pondering the purpose of our existence. What is this? Why are we here? Is there even a meaning to all this? Just a few of the questions that live in our minds rent-free. Will we ever find the answers? I don't really know, but I guess our eureka moment will eventually come, and I'll have found the answer. Una combo de las tres. Without deviation from the norm, progress is not possible. Frank Zappa. Yes, yes, y por eso sigo por ahí, jugando y experimentando con la letra, tratando de hacer todo con ella, desde lo más mínimo hasta lo más épico, jocoso y bobo, para no quedarme en lo mismo, para no quedarnos en lo mismo, porque ¿cuál sería el punto de artear si nos quedamos con lo mismo? No te equivoques, me gusta lo poppy, pero también tiene que haber espacio para lo avant-garde y la experimentación. In a way, this should be part of every artist's responsibility in order to see the possibilities, pero hey, that's just me. Cada cual en lo suyo, jugando con lo suyo, sea pop, folk, avant-garde o una combo de las tres. La esperanza para el progreso se perdió. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy. It's dismissive. Dave Chappelle. Y por eso no nos escuchamos, por eso la falta de comunicación. Tildamos a otros de locos porque sus ideas no cuadran con las de uno y entonces preguntamos, ¿dónde está el progreso? Cuando la esperanza para el progreso se perdió, en ese momento que tildamos a otros de locos. La torta. The hardest thing to do is to be true to yourself, especially when everybody is watching. Dave Chappelle. Y por eso me detengo de hacer varias cosas, porque algunas no me llaman y solo quiero hacerlas por la torta. Porque I know que me darían un poco de torta, pero I know I can't act for shit y se vería lo fake que sería en cada proyecto. Es difícil ser uno mismo, mantener esa dignidad que uno tiene, especially cuando el dinero is such a driving force, cuando la torta nos detiene de tanto. It ain't easy, pero I hope I make the right decisions at the end of the day. Lo visual. Use your freedom to experiment with visual ideas. Maya Deren. Y así nos movemos, querida maestra, practicando varios medios, pero siempre manteniendo en mente ese aspecto visual que tanto recitaste, visuales en la poesía y experimentando con el cine, la pintura y el dibujo, y pronto, con music and more, siempre manteniendo firme lo visual. Keating's quote. No matter what people tell you, words and ideas can change the world. John Keating from Dead Poets Society by Peter Ware. And I say it to my students, and I remind it to myself, and I try to pick my words wisely, and I try to think everything wisely, because whatever I put out there might influence someone, both good or bad. Tattoo those words to your brain. Words and ideas can change the world. And if you don't believe it, just take a look at history, and then go back to Keating's quote. A dream chaser. As long as you accept that your dream might not go exactly as you plan, you will still feel fulfilled by the pursuit of that dream. Tom Segura on Ball Hog. Remember that, kid. Remember that. It'll never go as planned, never ever, but at least in the pursuit, you'll feel some joy because you'll always be reminded that you're doing something for you, that you're doing something that brings joy, that you're doing something that you love, a type of joy and love that perhaps cannot be replicated or felt for anything or anyone else because it's different, People often question, do you still do X, Y, or Z? And at times it comes off as rude, but I paid no mind and I simply reply yes, which can be surprising to the person asking because they probably already gave up on a dream and they're surprised to meet a dream chaser. I shed tears. I've written many poems lately y últimamente se me ha ido el gas, pero escucho los violines y todos los instrumentos que componen el score de Final Fantasy VII Remake and I can't help but write these words as I shed tears. I haven't even played the game and I shed tears. Sure, I've played and beaten the original and the music for that one was powerful, but I don't know. There's something about the remake that simply touches me. Those strings, pianos, and winds just strike your core and the tears just come out, which goes to show the layers a piece of art can have when even one piece of it can make an audience member cry. At the center of it all. No matter how many weapons you have, no matter how great your technology might be, the world cannot live without love. Shira from Castle in the Sky by Hayao Miyazaki. So many tech advances, and in the end of it all, we only want love in one way or another. We do everything for love. It's at the center of everything: connection, attention, hugs, simple love, true love, whatever type of love. We do it all for love. Even when we fail to acknowledge it, it's at the center of it all. Complaints, opinions, and more. In society, those who don't have many abilities tend to complain more. Kakashi Hatake from Naruto. Complaints, opinions, and more, but they don't do shit to learn something new or get better at something they started. Complaints will always be present and they can be valid, but at some point they'll fly with the wind and you'll be stuck in the dirt because you've yet to do something about whatever is bothering you. Siempre se aprende. Hija, al final el amor es lo que nos hace ver la vida de otro color. La madre de Raquel de La Casa de Papel. Yes, yes, y nos enseña y nos transforma y nos cambia para bien, mal y distinto, pero siempre se aprende de ese elemento tan esencial, pero que nos falta practicar. That comes along the way. Se necesita más valor en el amor que para la guerra. Helsinki, de La Casa de Papel. En uno se sabe la que hay y quizás puedes crear estrategias, pero en el otro la cosa es unknown, como una horror movie con múltiples posibilidades, y te expones en todas tus facetas, desde la carne hasta lo espiritual, dispuesto a ser open al punto de dejarlo todo en el hilo y recibir cualquier tipo de hurt that comes along the way. El sufrimiento. Life is suffering. It is hard. The world is cursed. But still, you find reasons to keep living. Osa from Princess Mononoke by Hayao Miyazaki. Quizás ahora más que nunca ese dolor es más visible y se siente más potente porque lo vemos everywhere, desde las calles más cercanas hasta en la tele y las redes que nos enseñan el sufrimiento global. Eso sin sumarle el daño que le hacemos a la tierra. Quizás yo viva hasta más allá de los 90 como mi abuela, pero me preocupo por los pollitos y las futuras generaciones, porque la cosa no se ve fácil y el sufrimiento de nosotros quizás sea el triple para ellos. El lobo siempre seguirá. A wolf's severed head can still bite. Lady Eboshi from Princess Mononoke by Hayao Miyazaki. Hasta en los momentos más oscuros, cuando se sienta que no hay más esperanza en la batalla, en la lucha por lo justo y la resistencia contra lo malévolo, la idea siempre persistirá y el logro siempre seguirá en la contienda contra el opresor. Oneness. The future is not a straight line. It is filled with many crossroads. There must be a future that we can choose for ourselves. Kyoko from Akira by Katsuro Otomo. But we fail to acknowledge this because we're often fixated on our tunnel vision and forget to see the many ways to achieve our goals, or the many other paths we could have taken towards a successful life, in whatever form of success we want to create for ourselves. No, we fail to see it. We compare ourselves to others so much we forget to see that we have our own lives and we can make our own futures, our own lives full of love and success. We become so parasocial we fail to understand our independence. There's nothing wrong with learning from others. There's nothing wrong with identifying with others. There's nothing wrong with feeling a sense of community through others. But we must never forget our own oneness. Currency. War profiteers are villains. Grandpa from Porco Rosso by Hayao Miyazaki. Yet they continue to fill their pockets with cash, caring not for the thousands who lose their lives, caring not for the thousands who lose loved ones, because all they care for is currency, that which has made us forget what makes us human. Spreading love. You make me think that not all humanity's a waste. Porco Rosso from Porco Rosso by Hayao Miyazaki. Shout out to all my loved ones. Shout out to La Escena. Shout out to everybody who's shown me love. You remind me of that Porco quote. And I keep going, spreading love just as you did to me. Protect their pollitos. The world is filled with dangerous creatures. Homily from The Secret World of Arietti by Hiromasa Yonebayashi. And we post our youngsters on the web, and we still allow them on the web at an early age. Even when we know the dangers, we continue committing the same errors. I'm no parent yet, but I hope those around me act with caution and protect their pollitos. Falta de liderazgo. What is a king when his country lies ruined? Lucita from Castle in the Sky by Hayao Miyazaki. A simple question many politicians should ask themselves now more than ever, as the economy continues to go to shit and hate filters through their veins of la gente y el pueblo se sigue muriendo por falta de liderazgo apropiado. Leadership. Use your mistakes to make yourself a better leader. Shikanara from Naruto. But the ego is always there because when you're at the top, you often feel perfect because you made it to the top, but you fail to realize that staying humble, that listening, that talking suggestions, that learning from the past will help you on the path towards leadership. Fools. The longer you remain a fool, the harder it will be for you to live in this world. Jiraiya from Naruto. Many fools stick to being fools because they prefer to be ignorant rather than see things for what they are, but sometimes I can't really blame them. The real world is a hard place to navigate, which is why we often seek for that sense of youth, that sense of carelessness that can often be freeing. Stupidity. Stupidity is a powerful thing. Pakun from Naruto. Yes, it is, and if you know how to manipulate those who stay stupid, you might just become a very powerful person, because stupid will defend the indefensible due to the blindness of stupidity. Interesting paths. Weird isn't necessarily bad. Jiraiya from Naruto. No, it isn't, and more artists should take it to heart, because grasping the weirdness, the avant-garde, the experimental will often lead to progress, and progress in the arts always leads towards interesting paths. Detenidamente. Find things beautiful as much as you can. Most people find too little beautiful. Vincent van Gogh. Trátalo, solo trátalo. Búscale la belleza a las cosas, a los detallitos de la vida. A veces es difícil encontrarla, pero la mayoría de las veces la tenemos presente every day. Desde una hoja que cae en nuestras manos, a la familia de aves cerca de casa, a las nubes y su baile en los cielos, a la cena que se comparte en pareja. La belleza está en todas partes, hasta en los cracks de la metro. Solo hay que mirar detenidamente. Apocalíptico. I always think that what we need is sunshine and fine weather and blue air as the most dependable remedy. Vincent van Gogh. Yes, y por eso se ha ido tan difícil vivir en este nuevo estado, esta nueva realidad donde casi no se puede salir, donde no se puede disfrutar de estar afuera porque le tienes miedo a la presencia de los demás. Son tiempos raros los que vivimos, pero unos a los que nos hemos tenido que adaptar para poder sobrevivir algo que se siente apocalíptico. Another toy for the rich. I see that humans do not transform when their hearts become corrupt. Our appearances change according to what's in our hearts. Traveler from Final Fantasy VIII. I don't trust any of them anymore. Never did in the past either, 'cause none of them has shown me some good. None of them have been shown to be trustworthy. At first, they might have had good intentions, but once corruption crept in, their hearts changed completely, and they've continued to stay like that for hundreds of years. And it's sad to see, 'cause our people continue leaving, and the island slowly becomes another toy for the rich, and we've barely even noticed it. As the times keep changing. Yes, we must expect certain change, but in these crazy times, everything is changing. From The Cremator by Juraj Hertz. And such is life. The times will forever be a-changing, and now they seem to change even faster because of the way we live now, attached more to the web than real life. And that way of living influences the real world. Yes, times are changing, constantly changing, but it's all a part of it. We should try our best to stay up to date. Y si te tomas tiempo, no te preocupes, solo edúcate cuando puedas. Sure, people will try to jump you because you seem outdated, but that's okay. Whenever someone attacks you for you being uneducated, that's just a bad look for them. You just do you, without hurting others. Just be human, as the times keep changing. That deep hole. No matter what happens, we all gotta keep going. From A Streetcar Named Desire by Alaya Kazan. Many times, life will just throw stones at you, left and right, but you just gotta keep going. Sure, have a cry here and there, but then reflect and search for ways to keep going. Adapt to the situation however you can, and try to find the end goal that'll keep you out of that deep hole that life's made for you. Según pasa el tiempo. From a kid to a boy to a man to a book. Eric Preach Etienne. Y en ese proceso estamos mientras seguimos creciendo, adquiriendo experiencia, tratando de ser ejemplo para los chamaquitos que instruyo y los pollitos que siguen saliendo en la familia, porque el día que sus gallos no estén, yo tendré que ser un ejemplo a seguir. El niño sigue adentro, pero hay que balancearlo con el hombre y el libro en desarrollo. Es un rol difícil que tomar, pero uno que hay que tomar según pasa el tiempo. Life's just one. All children are artists. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. Pablo Picasso. Yes, la imaginación siempre está ahí, pero al pasar los años y enfrentar la realidad y todo lo que nos trae, se nos pierde la imaginación, se nos olvida la creatividad y terminamos siendo robots de un sistema que no nos valora. Así que tira para adelante y explora el artista que siempre has llevado adentro y pa'l carajo el que dirán, because at the end of the day, life's just one. Three booty parties. Se preparan con toda ropa, trying to look fly as fuck, some of them peinándose hasta las cejas, otros brushing gel en la cabeza, mirándose con precision en el espejo, queriendo dejar a otros perplejos, la ropa on point y las tenis brillan, unos buscan jebat, otros buscan chillas. Toda la tarde previa, toda la noche previa, cocinando y preparando la comida que vamos a jampearnos, desde arroz con habichuelas hasta lachón con cuerito, porque la fiesta se da grande, abuelas, tíos y los primitos. Personas de todos lados, backgrounds, van llegando, aglomerando y las calles huelen a pasto, alcohol y don nefasto. Esta noche hay pecados entre bailes y codazos, entre moshpits y bailoteos, entre pasos y headbangueos. Canta el gallo, llega el día y la comida es poetría. Hay casa llena, familia entera, amor, sonrisas, vida plena, que nos trae más de una vida y luego empieza la musiquita de salsa, merengue y bachatita, luego se mueven las batatitas. The fiends come out at night under the flashing neon lights y ya están de cacería buscando pareja para lo que queda de día, para amanecerse entre gemidos y otros bodily fluidos, hopefully sin meter patas, para no tener bebos gateando en cuatro patas. De camino ya llevan birras robadas de sus padres en las neveritas, con el perreo intenso en full blast, van por las calles de camino a la jaula, toca uno, tocan dos, cada una más, dura que la pasada, para tumbar las paredes y las calles con todo, y luego en el piso dejarlo todo. El estrés de la uni se bota y se suelta, el sudor cubre todas las cabezas, estas noches no hay feca, todo lo que se escucha es plena y la bomba en las venas, y la juventud lo demuestra con cada paso que presenta al ritmo de pop, rock, trap y todo lo que trae el soundtrack. Llegan al holgorio fronteando, el piquete no lo quita nadie, el brilloteo a las 100 con cada cadenón, y las caderas bajan más with each song. Desde Teo a Plan B, la cosa está grasosa, noche brillante entre dioses y diosas que celebran la vida al flow del reggaetón hasta que no se escucha una canción. En estas fiestas todo es alegre, aunque peleas hay a veces por cosas tontas, cositas bobas, tú sabes cuáles, las que arropan al boricua todos los días y los llena de rebeldía, desde política a religión, dañando el ritmo de la ocasión.